Okay, hi, good evening. Welcome to our Ultimately Invest series with the Wonder Girls. So,
Hello.
so we have Cheryl and also we have Mabel. Can you just say hi?
Hi, I'm Cheryl.
Hi, I'm Mabel.
Okay, cool. So, we're just gonna wait a while for maybe more participants to come in. Now we have about 20 over. So let's just wait for 1-2 minutes before they start coming in. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna share the screen. By the way, I'm Paul. I'm from Ultimate Investing. I'm one of the co-founders. So the series for Ultimately Invest is basically for people in various industry which are pretty hard hit by the COVID-19. And in this case, we are interviewing Cheryl and Mabel from the travel industry. Okay, so I'm gonna just share out my slides. Okay, so if you guys can see my slide now, which shows Travel Wonder Ultimately Invest series, can you just type travel into the chat group? Can you just type travel into the chat group? Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay, you guys can see. That's good. That's good. Okay. So without much further ado, I'll just ask Travel Wonders or you all would like to be known as the Wonder Girls to introduce themselves.
We are actually okay whether it's Travel Wonder or Wonder Girls. So
Okay.
basically our both of us, we run a travel company, a licensed online and offline travel company known as Travel Wonder. And then we specialize in active holidays as well as bespoke travel.
Yes.
Okay. So what's is so you say bespoke travel.
Mm.
Maybe explain a bit what's different? What is different from the other people who runs similar stuff?
Okay, maybe you want to take this?
Actually, the main difference that we have, okay, when we talk about bespoke, a lot of times it means a lot of things. And one of the criteria it meant is customized, tailor-made programs. So we are flexible in the sense of planning the itineraries according to what an individual is looking for. At the same time, what is the main difference between us and other travel agencies is that we specialize in active holidays. So if you go to our website, that will be the main core of the trips that you see. You see our cycling holidays, our hiking holidays, as well as running holidays. Yeah, so we are the very niche agency in terms of the product offering that we have. At the same time, we do not close our doors just to active travelers. So that's where the bespoke travel comes in, where we tailor-made the program according to what they want. Maybe it's a family vacation, but it could be an active family vacation. So it's not just the usual sightseeing. It could be like recently we actually arranged for a family to go to Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, where the family of four tried horseback riding, tried hiking, and all the outdoor elements that usually you don't really see for as the main product offering in other agencies out there.
Okay, cool. So on the screen, we can see a very colorful sort of photo montage of the tours that you all have done before. Maybe you just want to have maybe pick one or two to talk about them, which are more interesting.
Okay, we talk about the one right at the top in the middle with the purple box.
Okay.
Tangka food and durian cycling travel
Durian, yes.
trail. Yes,
Yes.
yes, and usually from late June, July, this period, we are supposed to present a lot of durian trips into Malaysia on two wheels. That means
Okay.
you get transported into Malaysia. Then we go on our bicycle, scouting the kampongs, has a little bit of green, the sun, the sky, and then after that we will have a durian feast. Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
most of the durians that we are going to introduce are not just Musang King. So you have an opportunity to try a lot of different breeds of durians that are not easily available in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so many of them.
Wow. Interesting. So
Yeah.
is it like how long is this trip?
Normally it's over the weekend. We
Okay.
depart on a Friday evening, so that
Mm.
by the time we arrive into Malaysia, you check in, sleep for the night, so that we can start the day early the next morning.
Okay.
So
Cool.
besides
Cool.
just durian, we will also include a lot of the local food. Like we can go around the town enjoying they are like handmade wonton mee. Not just the wonton is handmade, down to the noodles are also handmade.
Yeah.
Then you will have like that local zicha. Then you have a lot of like snacks, food along the way. So
Okay.
it's basically a upload and download trip lah.
Makan trip.
Makan trip.
Okay.
Um,
Cool. Cool.
then
So
we also have other trips. So
mhm,
most of our trips are leisure, active holidays. That
mm,
means you don't just go there and sweat it out to burn some calories. We also make sure you eat well, sleep well, you play well. And we
okay.
also can, that's where the bespoke travel will come in, where we will highly customize according to the need of the group. For example, the picture in the middle by
Mm.
Bike
Yeah, they
SG.
looks very professional. Looks
Yes,
like
yes,
professional cyclists.
yes, yes. And they also didn't run away from the element, because one of their focus is we want to go there to cycle, to cover the mileage we want, but yet on the other side, we also want to eat well and want to look good on photos. So on that trip, right, basically all of them have no opportunities to take photograph, because they are covering as much as like 100 kilometers a day or even
Mm.
more, especially they do the Wuling climb in one day.
Yeah.
So we actually have to bring in the cameraman plus videographer to do up the whole shoot over 3 days of ride that they have.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
those who are interested in this, right, just check out the Travel Wonder Web Facebook page, right? They have a video. This is what I captured from the video. The
Yes, yes.
pictures are very stunning. So that can tell that it's definitely from a professional cameraman.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then most of the time on our trips, right, as much as possible, it will be our job to capture as much photograph and videos of the cyclists or the hikers or even runners, because you are there to participate, to have fun, but I guess you also want some memories, and this is one of the best memories we can give it to you by collating all the pictures and video at the end of the trip and put it into a video and like a collage like that. I guess these are lasting memories that help you to remember the good times that you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So the way I met Cheryl was we actually went on a trip. It was like co-organized trip to
Yes.
Jeju. So
Yes.
that trip was quite memorable for me because first we cycled around the
Mm.
island. Then after that we actually did extension. So
Yes.
we are staying for the Jeju festive marathon. We didn't
Yes.
run the 42 click. We did the 10 click lah, but
Yeah.
we still experience it. But in
Yeah.
between, right, I forgot whose idea was it. Was it Cheryl's idea or was it William's idea? And then suddenly we say, hey, let's go and climb. Let's do a hiking trip on one day hiking.
Yeah. And then we go and club Halasan.
That sort of kill us is like we did a 12 hours hiking, like just the day before our 10 click run.
Yes. Yes.
So that was quite crazy, but that was all good fun. And in Jeju, we the weather, the food, and everything
Yes.
so nice. So this is something you cannot really experience if you go with a normal tour. So this is
Yes,
like I say, a
definitely.
customized, bespoke adventure tour, especially
Yes.
for those who are active. So
Mm.
this is really something very nice from my experience.
Yeah.
Sure, you want to share something about this Switzerland thing that
Oh,
you
sure.
yeah.
So this is one of our first foray into Europe on active holidays. So in
Mm-hmm.
fact, this year we have actually scheduled two trips. One is a cycling, and then
Mm.
the other one is a hiking
Mm-hmm.
itinerary.
Okay.
If many people doesn't know, actually Switzerland is really one of the best place to do these two activities or these two interests, because of their geographical location. There are a lot of mountains, and then you can easily reach 3,000 over meters of the Swiss Alps, even without sweating out, because the cable car connection is so good. And then even if you don't like hiking, you can do walks. You can do really good nature walking 3,000 above sea level, and not many places are in this world that allows you to do that. So we thought Switzerland is a very good introduction. But unfortunately, the cycling trip is canned off, or I'll rather say that it's postponed because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And then the other one that we are hoping it to move, but we are crossing our fingers, is the September trip hiking down in southern part of Switzerland in Ticino, the Italian part of Switzerland.
Okay.
It's like fantastic.
The Italian side of the Swiss Alps.
Yeah, so you are going to have a lot of great food with a mix of like Swiss and Italian cuisine. And then the mountains there are also fabulous. You're going to see a lot of Alps. Yeah.
Okay. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So this has all been good and it's fantastic just before COVID-19 struck
Yes.
us. So
Yes.
maybe let's just talk about it. So before COVID, everything was fine and stuff. So how has COVID sort of affected you in terms of the running of the agency and in terms of income from a percentage wise? Yeah.
Okay, it really, I mean, like, there is no denial. It really hit us very hard. In fact, right after Chinese New Year, we literally see no new business. And that is very true.
That was before the circuit breaker, right?
Yes, yes. Because at that point of time, the fear of traveling is more on the time they are going to spend
on the plane.
On the plane, because you're enclosed and you have long hours. And because a company also start to implement a lot of measures within their cooperation. For example, like, I don't care where you go, as long as you travel, you have to quarantine after you return. And these are on your utilizing your own leave, as well as applying for no pay leave. So I mean, like, in Singapore, all of us are already so, first of all, vacation price, and then we have leave deprived. Nobody will be in the right mind to go for a 3-4 days trip and come back on a 14 days quarantine. You may just lost your job, you know. Yeah. So that is the first wave where we see bookings going down. Then as more and more countries start to report that, we have cases here and there. So everybody also take a back seat and see, okay, is this the time now I should buy a holiday, even though my travel is in May or June? Then, when we are talking about early February, that period of time.
So you experienced it pretty early, even
very early,
much before the lockdown.
Yes.
And then with the lockdown, basically it's just everything stops.
Correct. In fact, Bike Mart is our last departure, and that was in early March.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit, I know both of you are pretty young, but let's say the previous downturn was back in 2008. I mean, financially, there was the global financial crisis and stuff like that. Are you all in the business yet, or you're doing something else at that time in 2008?
We are already in the travel industry, but back then we are under another company's employment.
I see.
But it was never anything like this.
So it's different, right? This is really something.
It's totally different, because back then when we talk about the economic crisis or the recession, right? People will still travel, but I don't spend so much. It's like I used to travel and stay in a 5-star hotel. But now, because of this economic recession, I need to tighten my belt. Okay, I can make do with 4 stars.
Yeah.
You know, people will still travel. But now is, even you want to travel, you have the means to travel, you can't travel.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is really one of a kind. We have never seen this sort of lockdown before.
Yes.
In our lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah. So saying that, I guess you guys, I mean, are having sort of like a hard time now. But are there any plans for you all to what are you doing at this point in time? Yeah.
Mabel can tell you what have we been doing.
We have a lot of online presence now.
Okay. Something like what we are doing now.
Yes, correct. So we hold our twice a week online sessions on our Facebook Live, where on Wednesdays afternoon we engage with our members. We have a midweek chatter, And basically, we just invite our friends from the industry or from overseas to come on board, and we just have a random chatter to let people to get to know more about us at Travel Wonder. And then on Friday evenings, or then we will have like a destination presentation or a trip presentation on the trips that we run or destinations that we wish to promote to everybody else. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of online presence just to make ourselves known, and also to keep people engaged and to let them have like the Travel Wonder branding in their minds, so that when in future, when the world is ready to travel, when people are ready to travel, hopefully we will be one of the first agency that comes to their mind. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point in time, we can take some questions from the audience. So if you've got any questions, you all can just type into the chat group, and then the Wonder Girls will answer the questions. Hopefully it's company related. Don't ask whether they are available or not. Okay, so also at this point in time, right? So besides getting, are you planning ahead for future trips? Is it possible to plan, or is
It is.
okay?
It is. We are in fact already planning the 2021 calendar, even down to 2022, because what we realized that active travelers plan well in advance, especially taking part in runcations. Yeah, like the runners, they will plan 1 year in advance where they want to go.
Okay.
Like now they already know, okay, 2021, these are the few places I want to go for running. I want to take part in all these marathons or all these running trails. Yeah, so there is a need for us to plan early, because not forgetting that a lot of all these active travelers, they also have other priorities. They have family priorities. They need to allocate their leave. How many days goes to my own interest and passion? How many days I have to leave it for my family travel? Or then some days I have to take for my children's exam, all these things. So they have to plan their leave in advance. And we realize that if we are planning too late, a lot of time they'll say, oh, I wish I can go on this trip, but I can't because of a lot of other commitments.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
We've got questions coming in now from the chat group. Let's take the easier one first. So Bowen, one of our co-founder, is also online. He's asking, other than Switzerland, any other place you would recommend for simple walk? I think what he means is like a simple hikes for family with 60 plus. That means with age, probably the parents are about 60 plus. Any places in your mind?
You can consider for places that with closer familiarities, where we say that there's no need to do camping or staying in mountain huts up in the mountains. You can consider places like Hong Kong, Japan, Korea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did Korea. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and then we have different levels caters to different skill sets for the family. So when we talk about walking or even hiking, usually we will do a simple like interview to ask them also who is coming along, have they been exercising, even you tell me that they have been walking in Singapore, what type of walk do they take, how long do they do, because once you get out of Singapore, everything's become more difficult, even just simple walking.
Okay. I see.
Yeah,
okay.
And then also if they have any interest, like because some of the family may, oh, I like flowers. Some will say, oh, I like a lot of nature. Some cannot give up their comfort, say, no way, I'm going to do camping. And from there, we will be able to help them to narrow down the destination they can go, the number of days, what they can do.
So that's where the bespoke component come in, right? You can you can adjust to different level. Like the trip that I went, sort of cycling, hiking, and running trip in Jeju, that was sort of catered to more intermediate cyclists. Not so strenuous. We do about 40 click, 50 kilometers a day, and also that my wife can join me, and it was more relaxing. So, but then on the other hand, you also can do like those who can do hundreds of kilometers a day to cater to them. Yeah. So I think the question one, is there a minimum group size for this sort of tours?
Mabel will take this.
Yeah, it depends. Okay, if we are tailor making the itinerary according to a family, then there's no minimum group size.
Okay.
But if we are looking at joining one of our groups, which we call it our Wonder Collection trips, then we do require minimum group size. It ranges from minimum 8 to minimum 12, but the maximum we go up to is only 20 people at any one time.
Okay. So thanks. Yeah, I think Jimmy is pretty curious. I mean, Jimmy is one of our graduates. So he's asking, how many trips does your company do per year? Maybe he's trying to calculate your revenue.
We do about on a general rule of time, from mid-December onwards, December, January, February, up to even certain part of March is considered our low season. So sometimes you will see trips, sometimes you don't see trips, especially the last 2 weeks of December or any time in between New Year's Day to Chinese New Year. You'll see very, very low trip. Even if we do, it's only like 2 days, 1 night weekend over to Malaysia. Nothing longer than that, because people are recovering from all the festive season and in preparation of Chinese New Year.
Okay.
But also another reason is to engage in active holidays. 2 of the best season is actually spring, that will start in April, and then another one will be autumn. Autumn, which will be somewhere from late September onwards.
Okay.
Yes, only certain places you can engage in such activity during summer.
Yeah, and also these 2 periods somehow is a little bit better because it's not the school holidays per se, not the June, December, and generally not so crowded in certain places.
Not crowded and prettier in the sense that spring, everybody know is like flower blooming, so you have a lot of team travels, like a cherry blossom rides. Then you also can see flowers, see much more greeneries. Then when you come to autumn, the weather is cooling, so generally you are like engaging in activities at about 10 over degrees, 20 degrees. So like aircon temperature is very good, a good change for us.
So that's good. Okay, so now to the more serious question. Who was this? Andrew. He asked, are there any competitors you have in your niche in the area? I'm sure there are, but
yes. I would say that we are definitely not the first in the active holiday kind of specialization. There are already some in the Singapore context or even in a worldwide context. We are definitely not new.
Correct.
There are already a lot of players in terms of rankations and as well as for hiking holidays. But one thing that we found that is lacking in Singapore is leisure cycling holidays, and that is where our strength come in.
So when you create a niche within a niche, because I mean, active holiday is something getting more and more popular, but among them, right, there are more what we call the hardcore, the cyclists or runners who really want to go the distance and stuff.
Yes.
You all are more the smell the flower type, so stop for cafe, stop for
correct,
good food. So it's a more total experience for the average cyclists and runners.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, some questions regarding insurance. Some is asking whether what types of insurance cover the coverage the company will provide.
Insurance
is probably by themselves, right? Most of the insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
As part of our licensing regulation, everybody who buy a tour from travel agencies, it is our duty to tell you that you have to purchase a comprehensive travel insurance.
Okay.
Yes.
So and then another question from ET is asking whether is there a need to maintain a certain amount in your bank account to maintain a travel license? I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Mabel will know the answer.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
you do need to maintain the minimum amount of 100K in your
Okay.
bank account to maintain the license, and that is one of the requirements before STB renews your license.
Okay.
They will need to go through our accounts, audit it to make sure that we do have sufficient funds there to continue operating for the next year.
Okay, so it's not so easy. I mean, this is something new to me because I thought it'd be quite easy to do this. But this seems that there is some barrier of entry. You need to have at least 100K in the bank account to
Yes.
maintain to get a travel license.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and, another question from Jimmy is asking whether it can be the tour guide come friend during the trip. I don't understand the question. I was asking the manpower in the company. No, he's just asking whether he can. Is there a way he can sort of work part time for you guys? I think.
Oh yeah, sure. We are always looking for people because as we grow, we will have more trips. But when we have more trips, we will need a lot of trip facilitators. But one thing that to lead active trip is different from leading a general trip or become the leader of your family or your friend group in the sense because everybody who come in pays good money and they expect good service. Yes.
Okay.
And also you need to have the energy to run active trips. Yeah. The problem we face I was asking with only two people.
Jimmy definitely needs a part-time job, so that's why he's asking you.
Okay, so he's asking that
connect
with
you
only the
offline.
two of us, will there be limited trips we can do per year? Yes, definitely. Definitely, there's only how much we can do because there's just the two of us. But also another supplement income coming is from the bespoke travel.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I think
so as we grow, we definitely need more manpower. Yes.
So I think probably this is the last question we'll take. They're asking about still on the 100K. If the EP is very interested. How regularly do they audit that?
Once a year.
Once a year, huh? Okay.
Yeah, once a year.
So you can take out the 100K and put it in, and you cannot take out. It has to be there, is it?
When you submit your financial statement, your audited financial statement, the 100K must be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So interesting. Okay, so we'll take the question and for now for the Wonder Girl. So what we'll do is we'll go into sort of looking at some of the gems we can look out for the in the travel industry. Okay, so firstly, before we share that, right, I have a disclaimer. What we are sharing here is mainly case study, and this should not be constituted as a to buy or sell certain shares and stuff. So just take this disclaimer. So we're gonna go into the investment part of this. So in terms of what I'll do is I'll go through most of the materials, but what I'll do is I'll once in a while ask for Mabel's and Cheryl's input for this. Okay, so you can see that this is the travel industry boom. I can see that it's actually very steep, and you can still see that back in 2018, right, the growth is there. Europe, America, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. So this is where the growth is really tremendous, and as more and more as the income level increases, right, so travel is really something on everybody's wish list. So can I have a show of hands in the group, right? Who likes to travel? If you like to travel, can you just type like, L-I-K-E? Okay, just type like inside. Okay, I'm sure Rachel. Okay, a lot. Yeah, everybody likes to travel, right? Yeah. So especially if someone pays for it, even better. Okay, so the thing is this red rambutan appears lah. So what happened is this red rambutan is what we call the COVID-19. So it came probably started in Wuhan end of November, and then what happened is it actually impacted the travel industry a lot. So you can see that this is based on the IATA website. The travel restrictions, right, 96% of global destination, right, imposed travel restriction. So I don't know which are the 4% that can still travel. To me, I thought it was almost 100%, but maybe. Tourism arrival, right, they predicted will be down by 20 to 30% at least. Okay, and because the COVID-19 is still evolving, we don't know how bad the impact is. Okay, but this is at least the preliminary estimates that they have. So travel boom sort of take a back seat at the moment. But I think a more important question is, actually, will tourism recover? So maybe this one, one of the travel wonder girls, what would you all think? What do you think, Cheryl or Mabel?
It will recover. It will
Okay.
definitely recover, but it will take a very long time.
Very long
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Mm.
Mainly reason is because of even let's say if the COVID-19 is sort of over, it takes people to sort of gain the confidence again, or is that
Yes.
habitual?
Yes, I was reading an article just a few days back that this travel expert analysis says that the recovery from COVID will be very different from any recovery that was impacted by economic recession or even by terrorist actions. Yes, because this is talking about our safety and the hygiene moving forward.
Yes.
Yes. So and it don't just constrain to one area. Like, for example, if there is like terrorist attack in a certain part of the world, people say, oh, okay, I'm not going to
You can
go
just
there.
avoid the place.
Yeah, I avoid the place. I can go somewhere else. So another part of this world will boom. You see? Yeah. But now we are talking about the whole world, and every industry or every stakeholders or tourism players are affected.
Okay, so that's why it's like I think we heard from Cheryl. She's saying that you will recover, but it's going to take a long time. So I sort of took a picture of survival lah. So we either outwit, outplay, or outlast. So we sort of this idea was actually rooted to me by Cheryl, because she's actually certain industry or subcategory in the industry of travel actually have this sort of concept of going asset light. Okay, so asset light is something pretty maybe not very understand. It's just that it means that these companies do not have so much physical assets. Okay, so they are actually outsourced or they use a franchise model to do that. Okay, but not all subcategories can do that. So maybe let's dissect the industry. So if you look at the cruise liners, right? Okay, everybody have been to cruise. A lot of people have been to cruise, and it's a very popular pastime. Okay, you can see that the cruise industry is actually very huge. It's about $46 billion. Okay, in 2018. Okay, and you can see that the cruise industry, right? Actually, the top three players are Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian. Okay, they own a lot of sub brands, but they actually account for 80% of the passengers and also 70% of the revenue. So these are the big brothers of the industry. Okay, so when we look at the industry, we generally look at the big brothers and we analyze them. So what happened is, you can see that this is what I took from this website called Cruise Market Watch. Okay, it was pretty good, cruisemarketwatch.com. So this website actually talks about how a typical breakdown in a cruise, what is the expenses and stuff. So we all know that at the current moment, right, all the cruising company is closed. So they are not running. But the problem about this industry is even when they are not running, right, okay, they still have certain costs that they have to bear. Like example, they own the ships. So they have depreciation and amortization. They have interest because they use loan to buy this. So all of this staff costs, even though let's say the people from the ship, right, okay, they don't get salary or they get half of the salary. Okay, you can see that all these costs adds up to about 33%. Okay, even without any revenue coming in, they still have to pay this 33% day over day. So this is what I call a assets heavy industry. Okay, so you can actually see that the stock market has actually taken this into account. So you can see that since January, beginning of the year, the top three cruise liners have actually dropped anything from 75% to 82%. Okay, so they are really heavily affected by this. And this is an industry which probably will take a long time to recover. So this is one of them, right? Let's say if you look at this similarly, right, in the airline industry, right, okay, airline industry also have this problem of being assets heavy, because you can see that what happened is they have a lot of capex that they need to spend. So based on this report from Bloomberg, you see that actually all these airlines are at risk of going bankrupt. And true enough, just on the 23rd of April, or actually 2 days, 21st of April, so Virgin Australia actually has declared to be in receivership. So they can no longer do the business, so they are now in receivership. Okay, so airline is also very heavily hit in this case. Okay, but if you look at our Singapore airline carrier, Singapore Airline, because it's a national carrier, so it's a bit more fortunate because there's a bailout. Okay, they are being bailed out of a record 13 billion funding. Okay, but if they have not been arranged for bailout, right, they only actually have funds that last for 5 months. Okay, this is saying that months before bankruptcy, assuming 100% capacity cut and zero cash inflow. Okay, I'm a cyclist, so I like cycling, and I cycle sometimes to the airport and stuff. Only recently, right, where I see the runways actually got airplanes facing each other and just stopping at the runway. This is the first time I've seen something like that. So we can see that I think there's reports that SIA is grounding 95% of their flights and stuff. So everything is in a standstill. So I'm not sure, Mabel and Cheryl, you have friends in the airline industry. How are they doing, or what's happening?
Yes, we have friends who are pilots as well as in cabin crew. So most of them are now currently grounded. Yeah. So just like us, I mean,
Okay.
they have nothing to do. They have to stay at home. So
Yeah.
there are just so many crews because only 4% of their capacity is flying. So it's a long wait in line, When is
Yeah.
your next duty call going to come?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's quite a not the best industry to be in at this time. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. So what happened is, so we come to the gist of this discussion where we talk about what is being assets heavy and actually assets light. So I say that unfortunately for the cruise industry and the airline industry, it's very hard for them to be assets light because they have to somehow own the ships, or even if they lease, right, they have a certain contract that they are being they have to fulfill and stuff like that. Okay, but we start to realize that actually under the hotels, okay, the big hotel chains like the Marriotts, the Hiltons, the Intercontinental, right, they have actually moved to something called an asset-light model. Later, I'll talk to more on that asset-light model. Okay, so this is one area where we call some shining light that we can look at. It doesn't mean that they are not affected, but it just means that they could be affected slightly less. Okay, slightly less. So booking agency, so this is another area we will talk about. The booking.com, the expedia.com, they are generally affected but also less because they are what we call a platform business. So in our course, we actually this is actually one of the modes. They have actually the network effect where they are actually a platform business. So these type of businesses actually are also very assets light. Okay, they are very, very assets light. But today's discussion, we probably won't go into that because I think there's enough things to talk about the hotel industry. So we're going to focus on that. Okay, and then lastly, we can see the car rental, right? Car rental, unfortunately, is also very assets heavy. Okay, like the biggest player, Hertz, right? They have the fleets of stars that they have to do that. Okay, Joseph is based in Australia. Joseph say that 4 SIA A380 are flown to Alice Springs for storage because there's no space at Changi. Oh, thanks for the information. I didn't know that. But yeah, it happens. I think they are really having problem finding these grounded flights where they should put the planes. Yeah. So today our main discussion is we're going to look at the hotel chains and how they actually manage to go to a asset-light model. Okay. And this is something which I found out only after when I talked to Cheryl and I dig deep into the industry. So let's look at this Intercontinental Hotel Group. Okay, so these are the brands. They got the Crown Plaza, they have the Holiday Inns, the Intercontinental brand and stuff like that. So generally they have 3 types of model. Okay, so if this is taken from their annual report in 2018. So they actually have 3 types of models. Okay, the franchise model, the managed model, or the own model. And you can see that the own lease and managed model, right, is only 23% of their total revenue. So they have actually managed to, in a way, outsource the risk because they have changed it to a franchise and a managed model. So in this case, right, so this is how the revenue sort of come in. Okay, so think about it as a franchise. So the hotel, right, will have to pay a franchise fee. That's something they call a system fund. So in this, right, they will covers the marketing, cover the system that they use and stuff like that. The quality control, how to make the hotel better and stuff like that. So this is a fixed fee that they have to pay. Okay, then there's another fee which is a variable fee, which is called the fee revenue, where it's based on the revenue per pax times the number of rooms being rented out and also the royalty rate. So this is the fluctuation part. Okay, and then lastly they pay the hotel owner. So you can see that after looking at this, right, I start to look at the other big chains in the hotel industry and realize that actually most of them, right, are actually going to this model. So you can see that there are actually a trend that is actually forming, and it has happened actually. It happened starting much earlier, back in the 80s to 90s, but it has actually accelerated during these times, and probably because of COVID. Okay, this trend is going to continue. So what happened is we feel that the future trends in the hotel chains is that more hotel will jump into this asset-light wagon. So we have the Marriotts, we have the Hiltons. Okay, they actually own very little real estate. They are actually more giving the branding. They operate, but they don't actually own the assets. So they are assets like in that case. And because of this model, right, it's very easy for them to actually scale up. So they can actually do acquisition very fast. They just basically negotiate a franchise agreement with the new hotel and then they are on board. So it helps them expand very, very quickly. And because of this, right, the hotel industry probably will see some consolidation. Okay, because when you are bigger, you can actually negotiate better deals with the online travel agency and the large management companies and stuff like that. So these are the things which are really happening in the hotel industry. So if you look at the top 10 hotel chains in the world, right? Okay, so you can see that the top 5 of them are generally based in the US. Okay, so these top 5 are actually based in the US, and we find that actually all of them have gone to the assets like strategy. Okay, some of them you may not be very familiar, like the Wyndhams, the Choice Hotel, right? You're not very familiar with the brand, but Marriott, Intercontinental, Hilton, these are very familiar brands. Okay, so we're gonna do a sort of a dissect into what's happening in the industry. So this is one matrix which I'm gonna introduce to you guys. Okay, this matrix is called return on assets. Okay, so when we say asset slides means that this company owns less assets. But let's say if the net income is still high, so the net income divided by the total assets will generally be high. So this is one indicator which we can look for to look for company that are actually asset-light. Okay, but be very careful with this indicator because it's useful for comparing companies only in the same industry. So you cannot compare this with a company in the cruise or the hotel industry with another company in the airlines because they have different cost structure. Okay, but by looking at this, so we can actually deep dive into the top 5 and look at them which has a better return on assets, and we'll show that they're actually assets like. Okay, so this is what we found that in the summary. Okay, we have the return on assets, which is we want it the higher the better across the same industry. Okay, and we add in another parameter which is called net margin. Okay, net margin generally tells you how much margin this company actually have after paying off everything. So generally, right, in our course we actually teach people that we want to have companies to have more than 10% for the net margin. Okay, so if you look at the 5 companies, right, these are their ticker symbols. So we have Wyndham, we have the Choice, Marriott, Intercontinental, and Hilton. So you can see that in terms of ROA, right, return on assets, we see that Choice actually is head head and shoulder above the rest of the companies. It's like double digit, 17.55 versus like the closest one is IHG, which is 9.96 over here. Okay, so this is an indicator that they are generally more assets like. So I look into the financial reports of CHH and I find that 99% of their hotels are actually franchised. So they are almost 100% running on a franchise model. So this could be one of the reasons. Okay, but Marriott, IHG, Hilton's, they are also on a franchise model. So but they are not having such a high ROA. So in terms of net margins, right, you can also see that CHH has actually a much better net margin compared to the rest, also in the double digit. So this starts to make me wonder why, because these two metrics will tell that first they are assets like, secondly they are commanding a good margin. So it makes me want to investigate more for CHH. Okay, but because of time constraint for this webinar, we don't have time to go in more detail. But what I found out is also these companies, right? If you look at Choice Hotels, right? If you look at the brands, right? Maybe I'll tap into Mabel or Cheryl. Okay, do you come across these hotels, and usually in which areas do you see them in? Cheryl or Mabel, may you want to answer that?
Mabel will share.
Okay.
These are motels, so usually they are in the suburb areas,
Okay.
not in the main city.
Yep.
Yeah. And then where you probably, when you're traveling from one point to another along the way, if you need a rest stop, then they are there, conveniently located, just for you to get one night rest and then off you go onwards. So it's like no frills kind of accommodation.
No frills and not much choice. It's like you just want to crash for the night and go get out the next morning.
Yeah, that's right.
So your expectation will not be that high.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the reasons, because I start to realize that when I was traveling in the US and stuff, it's like the Quality Inn and the Comfort Inn, they're like 2-star, 3-star motels. You call it motels. So it's like along the highway and you stop just for the night and then you move on. So that could be one of the winning factor that they are doing. And I start to realize also when I start to look at Singapore companies, actually, do you know which are the 2 hotel chains that are most profitable? Maybe you can type in the chat group. Which are the 2 hotel chains that are the most profitable in Singapore? Anybody? You don't stay in hotel in Singapore. Okay. Only Cheryl said 81. Or Victor said 81. Yeah. Actually, yes. 81 and Fragrance. And do you know that actually Hotel 81 was never listed? It was always held privately, although they are very, very profitable. Okay. And secondly, for Fragrance Hotel, right, they were once listed under Global Hotels, but then the boss decided to delist them. So that could be, they are not the same company. Actually, they are from 2 different companies, the same model. So they run no frills hotel, but I think they are actually very, very profitable. So that's why the boss actually wanted to delist them, because they don't need the money from the shareholders. So they actually rather delist it. So this could be one of the things that we can look into it, but we need to have more details. Yeah, Bowen say that Fragrance is the top 10 richest in Singapore. The boss lah. Yeah, I think yes, probably is. Yeah. So at this point in time, right, maybe we'll just take some questions on what do you think on the ROA method of looking at the hotels, and how can is there something that you all want to ask Cheryl's, Mabel's opinion or stuff? Bowen say let's open a hotel. Okay. Assets light, but we still need some money. Yeah. It's not zero money. You can open a hotel. Okay. Joseph say that he thinks that Fragrance actually has estate in Tasmania. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the boss is really very, very rich. Yeah. I used to own the stock of a global hotels chain, but then they decided to delist it, and I'm forced to sort of surrender the stock. And they didn't pay a premium over the market also, but they sort of just do a delisting for that. Yeah. So any other questions? Or Cheryl, maybe have you got experience staying in Comfort Inn or Quality Inn? How was the experience you have? You are still muted.
I stayed in Quality Inn and Clarion before.
Okay.
Yes, they are located in the second tier in the suburbs of the city center.
Okay.
So basically, those are really the nights that, because on certain trips or even on business travel, most of the time after entertainment or whatsoever, you only start to check into your hotel at like 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Then the next day early morning, you have to either rush to the airport or you have to move on to the next destination. So a lot of time you just want a clean room, clean bed, and clean bathroom. That's all. Nothing
So expectation not
frills
very
you
high.
that. Yes, your expectation is not very high because you just go in there, crash, and next morning you move out. So and sometimes we don't even stay more than 12 hours in the room.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and also because of their locations of where they are in, a lot of people will choose them over city centers hotel or the better hotel if you are traveling on the road every other day, or you have a very early morning flight you need to
Oh yeah,
catch the next day.
a lot of them are actually near airports, I remember.
Yes, then you just want to stay near to the airport.
Okay. So maybe the trick is they just provide the bare minimum and they find location. Firstly, they're not in the city center, so the building, the land cost may not be that high also. But they provide a need. They serve a need for people who just need a place to sleep.
Yes.
And their expectation is just, so they just provide a bare minimum. So maybe that's why the net margin can be higher than the 5-star hotels where they have to really pamper the guests and make them return and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
Even if their room is not like up to your standard, right? You will tell yourself it's okay. I'm here for less than 12 hours. Just make do with everything, and tomorrow we are out. By 7 a.m. we are out. So you see, you pay $80 for a night, but then you just make do with it. So can you imagine how much your profit margin is? If you have paid $80 to stay in the city hotel, even a 3-star hotel, wow, probably you at least 10 things in your complaint list to the hotel.
Yeah, so that's very interesting because I remember when we were going to when we were staying in Jeju at that time, all the hotels we stay in are actually very good. And I really think we get a good deal from there, but they are not
Yes.
this. I mean, you don't put us in these hotels, but they are sort of maybe the local hotels, but they actually are some better than the international hotels in some way. So is there a trick to this? I mean, as a travel agency, how you all choose hotel for your clients or something you all can share?
Yeah, definitely. When we choose hotels, we will also look at the places that we go. For example, like if we are going to Japan, Korea, Taiwan, they are known for their standards. Yeah. So even if we put you in a internationally known, because a lot of places like in Taiwan, you could stay in very nice Mingsu. If you start to ask them about how many star hotel you upgraded, a lot of the owners or even the people who manage the hotel cannot answer you, because to them, if I am graded means I'm an international hotel. So they are not graded. So they'll tell you, we don't have star, 我们没有星.
Okay.
But when you reach the Mingsu or when you reach the local managed hotel, wow, you are like out of this world, because a lot of them are very nicely decorated with that local flavors that the owners likes. Yes. So in these 3 countries, it's very evident. But if we look about in the other side of the world, in Europe, we will never put you in a 2 stars or even 3 stars hotel. Yeah, even 3 stars hotel, we have to choose so carefully, because in Europe, a lot of their buildings are proudly preserved.
Yes.
The older, the better. But in Asia context, it's not up to our standards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not up to our standards. So it depends on where we go. The hotel that we choose is also fairly important.
So you sort of have to do your due diligence, either have a local partner that can help you source or even go down yourself to do a recce trip and stuff, right?
Yes, because some of them when they serve the other markets, they have no clue of what is Singaporeans liking or even the Asians liking. They will often tell us, oh no, our hotel is very good, we have like Europeans checking, we have all sorts of travelers coming stay before. But when we make a personal trip to do the inspection and see for ourselves, sometimes we will have to tell them tactfully that it's not up to like Singaporean standards.
Okay.
And then we have to change and look for similarities of sort.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know when I was traveling in Europe, right, I always pride the water heater in the room as a something good, because after 1 week in Europe and stuff like that, I will crave for two things. One is soup, the other one is instant noodle.
Yes.
So having a water heater is like, oh, godsend, is very good.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and also, sorry, and also we have to understand the local custom and culture. For example, in Europe, this is little tip, I mean, in case you doesn't know, that they have an official date they can switch on the air conditioning, regardless how many stars your hotel is. It's a law.
Okay.
Yeah, so when sometimes summer comes early, right in the beginning of May for that 1-2 days, the temperature just risen, but the date has not come. The hotels cannot switch on the air conditioning. You have to go with no air conditioning. Whether you are staying in a 4-star or 5-star hotel, you can go and complain and write a 10 pages complaint letter. There is nothing the hotels can do. There is nothing the travel agents can do, or whoever books the room for you, because it's the law. It's by law.
So in a way, sometimes it's also managing. I mean, one of the job of the agent tour guides is like to manage the expectation of the customer, right? Like, I think Jimmy says Singaporeans are too pampered. So yeah, in a way, I think it's more like something. When in Rome, you have to do what the Romans do. So you have to sort of fit in and know that you are on tour, and sorry, that was the market in the US starting. So you have to know that that you have to just 入乡随俗啊. You have to forget to follow them. So just not much choice. But I think managing expectation is one of the
in a lot of time, especially when we engage in active travel, because the places we go will normally be not in the city. Maybe the first night and the last night you stay in the city. The rest of the time of the holiday, you are in the countryside, and then there is just that limit amount of accommodations we can prepare you. But yet we want to give you the experience of trying various accommodation. It can be local stay, it can be communal stay, it can be local hotels, it can be international hotel throughout the whole entire duration of your vacations. But one thing that we do very often is overly manage your expectation, so that no matter how bad it is, right, by the time you arrive there, you realize, hey, it's actually not that bad that what Cheryl or Mabel have told us, you see.
Okay, so that's one of the trick. Okay, no,
yes,
it's always good to be pleasantly surprised on the good side, right?
Yes.
I see.
Like for example, our cycling in Mongolia, we actually have to stay in the girls' camp. That means there is no ensuite bathroom inside there. It's really the girl camp that people knows from Mongolia. Then the shower is like you have to walk a distance away. So before that, we already tell them. But then we will tell them, you know, the advantages of staying in these. You have stars under you. You have like natural heater. It's something like out of this world that you'll never be able to experience it anywhere in the world except in Mongolia. All this. So we already built that excitement. So when they arrive there, they look at the girl camp. It's like, okay, I'm not really here to pamper myself out of the room facilities, but I'm here to experience what is called blanket of stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sort of thing. So it's really a lot of management, and before the trip, during the trip, every day you are managing.
I see. Okay. That's good. So that's very good tip. I think I'll just take two more questions from there. I think they're more interested not in the investing part. They're more interested in Wonder Girls. So they want to know what attracted a Wonder Girls to go into this niche travel business. Yeah.
I think Mabel will take this. I'm often very curious. Why would she jump into this to start these crazy ideas with me?
For me, is Cheryl was the one who approached me with this idea of joining her, you know, to into this business venture like Travel Wonder. So for me, the reason why I joined her is, firstly, I mean, we were colleagues. I worked with her for 10 years in the past. And also we understand each other's working style and all that.
Mm.
Secondly, it's a very refreshing idea because I am into the outdoors a lot. I'm a very active person personally. So when she came aboard to present the idea of, you know, marrying what you really like, your interests. I mean, marrying two of your favorite interests together, like, which is the outdoors and travel.
Correct.
You know, it's, to me, it's like a win-win situation. Yeah. Then for Cheryl, I mean, she shared with me the reason why she joined is because, you know, in her school days, she's very much into the outdoors, hiking and all that. She's with the ODEC club.
Oh, okay.
ODEC,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So for her, it's like finding back that passion that she had when she was younger. Because, you know, when we started work, all these passion, interests that we used to have, somehow just we park it one side and we don't really think about it. You know, until much later, maybe when we reach a certain stage in our life, then we're like, what am I doing every day, just going through the grind? You know, am I really doing something that makes me happy? You know, yeah. So when she came on board, when she came and approached me with this idea, at the time, it took me a while, you know, to consider it, because with the previous company, it's a stable job and all that. But at the same time, I was like saying, you know, if I don't do this now, when will I have the next opportunity to try it? You know, in life is to live every day without regrets. That's what I believe in. So
you took a leap of faith in a way.
yes,
with
correct.
Cheryl. Okay.
Yes, with Cheryl. Because I mean, we have worked together for so many years, so we understand each other's working style. We understand each other as a person as well, not only just as colleagues. So it's not like, oh, just anybody who come to me and ask me whether I want to join or not, then I'll be like, okay, you know, I'm just gonna jump on the idea. It's all about whether you trust the other person that you are venturing into the business with. Yeah, and then in Cheryl, you know, I do trust her. I also do trust her vision also for Travel Wonder. That's where I was like, okay, you know, yeah, give it a try. You never try, you never know.
Cool. Actually, from what you say, right? Actually, that what you say about the passion and also you never try, never know, right? Actually applies to investing also, because like I said, why we do this Ultimately Invest series is regardless of what work you are doing, what industry you are, there will be some companies that actually is what I call within your circle of competence. So this is something like you know this better than other people. Like when we talk about choice hotels and stuff, you all got experience to share and stuff with that. So for everyone who is on this webinar, you can start looking at companies that actually you have a passion in, because that's the first easiest way to actually start investing. Start looking at companies that you're interested in, read out about them, and you start to know more about the industry and stuff. That's how we sort of build our circle of competence. So that's also one of our idea why we want to have this Ultimately Invest series, because it's not only that we are bored at home, COVID, nothing to do, so we invite someone. But at the end of the day, we wish that everybody who's online will have some form of investing ideas, okay, and also learn to do investing, because this is a lifelong education, lifelong skill that you can acquire. So with that, I think I'll just end today's call. Thank you so much for Cheryl and Mabel, the Wonder Girls, to be with us. So can we just have a big clap, CLAP clap into the chat group to thank them, and we will upload the video also on YouTube. Once we get it, we'll share with you guys. And yeah, that's it. So everybody stay safe. Once we got an opportunity, we'll we'll all travel. And if you all need to have more information about ultimate investing, okay, so you can join our Facebook group, okay, or you can go join our Telegram, which most of you. And I'm going to post more things about CHH. And also, of course, not forgetting, if you want to know more about Travel Wonder, just Google Travel Wonder for them. So once again, thank you so much, Cheryl and Mabel.
Thank you, Paul.
For
Thank you,
joining
Paul.
our interview.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, I hope everybody stay safe, and let's hope there's no more extensions. First of June, we're going to be out and we're going to start traveling.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
you
so much.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye-bye.